Can you still recognize the way? It's completely dark outside now. Chu Yunsheng asked. If the boy could recognize the way, their success rate would greatly increase compared to him wandering aimlessly. The boy nodded. Yes, I can. We originally had more than 30 people, but after being trapped here and many attempts to escape, we were driven back by the beetles every time. By the way, where did you come from? Chu Yunsheng replied without hesitation, the east, but I didn't see any beetles. The boy said sadly, the one you killed earlier was the one wandering in the east. We were so hungry that we tried to break out through the east where there was only one beetle, but we were driven back. The beetle followed us back, and then you know the rest. Chu Yunsheng nodded. No wonder there was half a corpse outside. It was probably one of their group. Young man, let's make a deal. You guide me to the Washang supermarket in the south and the small bridge in the west. After I finish my business, I can escort you to the military camp. How about it? Chu Yunsheng needed the boy to lead the way. The boy readily agreed, no problem, but what about Feifei and the others? After the incidents with the Scarlet Beetle and Diao Dingguo, the boy almost blindly trusted Chu Yunsheng's abilities. Chu Yunsheng thought for a moment and said, let them hide in the building across the street for now. We'll deal with the two beetles in the south first. It's safer here. Diao Dingguo, locked in the room, heard Chu Yunsheng's departure and desperately begged to be taken along, but Chu Yunsheng didn't even look back. Outside, it was still pitch dark. Occasionally, a distant light flashed, barely enough to prevent someone from walking into a wall. Using his night vision goggles, Chu Yunsheng led the 5 people quickly across the street and settled the remaining 2 men and 2 women in a third-floor apartment. To show his sincerity, Chu Yunsheng took out 3 pieces of bread and said, these 2 are for you 4 to share. Young man, this one is for you alone. I, Chu Yunsheng, am not a big deal, but I keep my word. If you help me, I will definitely escort you to the military camp. He introduced himself, though it was clear that the group's interest was elsewhere. Starved for so long, the sight of the enticing bread made them look at it as if a man starved for decades saw a naked woman. If not for their fear of Chu Yunsheng's formidable abilities, they might have already pounced to snatch it. To Chu Yunsheng's surprise, the boy didn't eat the bread but carefully tucked it into his clothes. Although Chu Yunsheng could see that the boy's hunger was no less than the others, the boy's swallowing betrayed his hunger. The boy, hiding the bread, said cheerfully, Brother Chu, my name is Zhang Han. You can call me Xiao Han. Shall we leave now? Chu Yunsheng, puzzled, asked, aren't you hungry? Why don't you eat something before we go? The boy patted the place where he had hidden the bread and smiled, with it here, I'm already half full. Alright then, let's go. Chu Yunsheng didn't want to waste any more time. Survival and cultivation were his priorities. With Zhang Han leading the way and Chu Yunsheng's night vision goggles, they quickly approached the Washang supermarket. Through the night vision goggles, he could clearly see a scarlet beetle wandering on the street, and another one lurking inside the supermarket. Suddenly, Chu Yunsheng felt a moment of unease. The vital energy around seemed to fluctuate slightly, but it quickly returned to normal. After a thorough check, he found nothing wrong and decided not to worry. He didn't want to waste such a good opportunity. After settling Zhang Han in a nearby building, Chu Yunsheng crept along the wall, aiming his crossbow at the slowly moving scarlet beetle. Shoot! The frost arrow whistled out, the high-speed projectile tearing through the air like a death reaper, heading straight for the scarlet beetle. The scarlet beetle barely managed to react in such a short time, spraying a mouthful of corrosive saliva towards the incoming arrow. However, Chu Yunsheng's arrow was too fast. Under the pressure of the talisman and vital energy, the frost arrow split the saliva in half, freezing the entire scarlet beetle and its saliva in place. It seemed the frost arrow's freezing ability had improved. However, there was no time to ponder this. The scarlet beetle inside the Washang supermarket had not moved, even though the commotion outside should have been heard. Cunning creature. It wouldn't come out, he would have to go in. Quickly finishing off the frozen beetle with his sword and storing it in the storage talisman, Chu Yunsheng couldn't afford to use the absorption talisman to draw vital energy, as the beetle inside could attack at any moment. As he cautiously entered the supermarket, his night vision goggles suddenly picked up not 1 but 2 more shadows. There were 3 beetles inside, closing in on him from 3 directions. Chu Yunsheng felt a rush of panic. 3 beetles meant he had to engage in close combat with the scarlet beetles, given his archery skills. However, he lacked any powerful close combat skills, as the sword techniques could only be practiced at the fusion stage. If it were just 1 beetle, he could barely manage with the 6 armor talisman and his sword. But facing 3 at once left him with almost no chance of victory. Calm down, he had to calm down. There had to be a way. Watching the 3 beetles closing in from the darkness, Chu Yunsheng knew he had to make a quick decision. Once within their attack range, the beetle's speed would be unimaginable. 1 beetle had already blocked the exit. Chu Yunsheng had retreated until he hit the wall. There was no more room to retreat. For the first time, Chu Yunsheng found himself in such a desperate situation, his survival instinct flaring up, a low, suppressed growl escaping his throat. Since there was no retreat, no escape, then he would fight. If there was a chance to fight, he would fight to the death. With his will steeled like iron, he took a half-step forward with his left leg, turned his body to the right, steadied his crossbow, and aimed the icy arrow tip, filled with a deadly aura, at the beetle by the door. Whiz! The roaring frost arrow flew almost simultaneously with the 3 beetles launching their attack. Chu Yunsheng knew that shooting this arrow meant he would be assaulted by the other 2 beetles. He had no choice but to rely entirely on the 6 armor talisman to withstand this deadly assault. The flying frost arrow hit the charging beetle squarely, while the other 2 launched their maximum attacks. Neither using pincers nor corrosive saliva, the 2 beetles opted for their razor-sharp front legs, as sharp as steel blades, bringing their full weight down on him. Pain, searing pain, as if his bones were being pierced, spread from his back to his entire nervous system. The beetle's savage strike did not penetrate the robust defense of the 6 armor talisman. However, the massive impact and penetration force left Chu Yunsheng gravely injured under the combined assault of the 2 beetles. Using the beetle's tremendous force, Chu Yunsheng rolled towards the door, just 1 step away from escaping. But he didn't choose that. If he turned his back on the beetles, he knew he couldn't outrun them. While the 6 armor talisman had withstood the combined assault of the 2 beetles, he could feel the talisman's damage and cracks, able to sustain at most 1 more joint attack. He had to eliminate 1 more beetle. With only 1 beetle left, the talisman could still withstand a few rounds of attacks. He couldn't allow the 2 to attack simultaneously again. The crossbow was too slow to reload, so he abandoned it during the roll. In this life-or-death crisis, fueled by the spirit of battle, Chu Yunsheng unleashed his greatest potential. Despite the excruciating pain in his body, he drew his handgun, gripping it firmly with both hands. Using his foot to stabilize himself against the door frame, he positioned himself firmly on the ground, and then fired madly at the nearest scarlet beetle. Sealed with a talisman, the handgun's power was nearly on par with the crossbow. The only difference was that the beetle's energy was fire-based, making the frost arrow more effective. The handgun's impact was less significant. Ignoring whether he hit or not, he kept firing desperately, the bullets infused with fire energy blooming like fiery flowers on the beetle, the supermarket shelves, and the walls behind it. Time seemed to stand still, but he continued to pull the trigger fiercely. Life or death depended on whether he could kill the beetle charging at him.